Understanding your challenge or your problem in research, the first step of the design thinking process, is one of the most important parts, and I want to talk a little bit more about why that is, or why I have the feeling that this is where your focus should really be, instead of thinking ahead, thinking about a solution or product in mind already, but really taking your time to take a step back and think about what is your actual problem. So you can only develop great products if you understand what the problem is, and then based on that develop an awesome product. So I want to talk about two examples. One of them which really fascinated me when I was at the D School in Potsdam, the D School in Stanford, which is the mothership basically, which got established first. They did a project with the Stanford clinic, and they wanted to understand why kids are so scared of going into MRIs. And I don't know if any of you has been in one of those gigantic big machines, which is very frightening. So they actually did that experience themselves, right? And laid on the bench, and then got pushed into the machine. And once laying in there, they actually observed what was happening. It was super duper loud. It's like the loudest experience that you have, and what you see is just so white and sterile and not, it doesn't make you feel safe. And based on that, creating that empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of your users, of the little kids, they actually understood what was going on and what the problem was. It was not feeling safe, not feeling any comfort, not having a nice experience. So based on that, they shifted the problem statement in order to develop a solution to create actually an exciting experience, even though it has something to do with maybe being ill, or maybe trying to find out what's going on in the little kid's body. But what they did, they transformed the MRI into a jungle. So that it was actually exciting for the little kids to go in there. They couldn't wait, they combined these sounds and painted the inside of the MRIs into an experience that they wanted to jump in there. And with that, changed the possibilities for doctors to work with little kids, to actually being able to help them. So this is a really good example of why it's so important to create empathy for your users, for your little patients in that sense, in order to, based on that, develop something that actually solves. Super duper amazing. One other example, when I was at the D School in Potsdam, there was a project going on with the Ministry of Defense, and they wanted to develop new vests for the soldiers in life-threatening situations, which was super duper interesting. But of course, none of us were experts in the field of life vests or building new products for soldiers, right? So also the first thing what we did is we put on a backpack and put in a lot of sandbags in order to simulate the weight of the vests. And when we did that, we almost fell over because they were so heavy. And that was something I did not expect. So the first thing I was thinking about is, okay, maybe they need to have specific materials in order to have more bulletproof, etc., etc. But I was never thinking about the actual weight that would definitely limit my flexibility when I would be in a life-threatening situation. So that changed the entire problem statement that we started working with going into the process. And basically this applies to any product, any service that you want to develop. It's all about understanding your users' needs, creating empathy, observing what's going on. And with every service or product you have in mind that you want to develop, think about situations where you can, or how you can create that empathy. It is the most important part to develop empathy for your users in order to start with the right problem statement and then move into the research phase and really understand what the needs and problems of your users are. Creating empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of your users, really simulating specific situations is one tool, but of course you can only do interviews, or you should do interviews with everyone involved. But also, when you do that, be aware of not only what people say, but also what people do, how they act in a specific environment, and the impressions, the body language that you perceive from them. Because what people say is not necessarily what they think or what they do. So when you do research, qualitative research, it's very important to dig deep, be like a child and always ask why, to really receive the stories from your users. So yeah, that was a little intro about how to create empathy and how important it actually is to use that as a starting point when developing useful, desirable products or services.